Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to try to eat for an entire week on just $20 worth of food. I'm going to combine whole foods with as many fresh fruits and vegetables that I can purchase with my 20 bucks. I'll also use basic pantry staples from my kitchen and also my favorite hot sauce. I checked the sale ads and I really like Aldi sales this week, so I'm mostly going to do an Aldi grocery haul, but I'll stop by my regular produce market on the way home and purchase any produce that I wasn't able to buy at a great deal at Aldi. I think my most difficult task will be to find a bread that I like that's in my budget. I need to be around $2. What I really want is a sourdough bread, but I don't think I'm going to be able to afford that. They had this 12-grain bread that looks like a really great deal at $2.39 and fairly healthy, but I'm wanting this bread for this breakfast meal that I've currently been obsessed with, and I've been wanting to share it with you guys, so I'm really hoping to fit it into this video, and it does work best with a chewier bread. I noticed they also had the keto-friendly and the gluten-free, and I'm wondering how that is, but it's $6.49. If anyone's tried either of those, let me know how they are. And they had this Italian loaf that looked really tasty, but it was almost $4. Same thing with the sourdough. That was $4.19. That's almost a quarter of my budget. Plus the bread's going to be more of an accessory in the meal than the meal itself. So I certainly don't want to spend all my money on that. Plus there's no nutrition in that. I looked at this French baguette. The price was right at $1.79. This is one of those take and bake items, and I almost got this. I put it in my cart, but then I ultimately decided to go with bagels. The only problem with bagels is they're super high carb, but if I eat only half at a time, I think that'll work. The weird thing is, I noticed that the everything bagel was 24 cents more expensive than the plain bagel. That's a lot of extra money for seasonings. I almost got the blueberry bagels because I'm a huge fan of blueberries and what they do for your immune system. However, I ultimately decided to go with the plain bagels because I can do a little more with them if I decide to use them in a sandwich. They had a great deal on these 1-pound bags of peeled carrots at 79 cents, but I want to shred some of them, so I think I'll look for the whole carrots at the next market I go to because I think they'll shred easier. They also had the best deal on avocados, and I had to search to try to find the largest one because I wanted to make sure I got the best deal because I can only afford one in my budget this week. I wasn't planning to get chayote squash, but I saw these on sale and I remembered how good these were when I tried these in that one video. So I think I'll get these because I think they would be good in some of the dishes I'm going to be making. And Aldi's always has the best deal on spinach at $1.57. So I'm grabbing that. And they were out of the 2-pound bags of kiwi, so I was really bummed about that. But they did have mangoes for 45 cents each, which I thought was really good. So I picked the ripest one, and I thought this was going to be a great deal, but the next day Wholesome Choice had mangoes 3 for $1, so I guess they're probably on sale pretty much everywhere. Aldi had organic quinoa 1 pound for $3.25. I have some of this already at home, so I'm just going to use the 1-pound bag I have, but I'll add this to the budget. I feel like I don't eat quinoa enough, and I know how healthy it is, so I do want to try to include it more in my meals, and it's a perfect addition for summer quinoa salads. And I also noticed that they had the little pastas for 35 cents, so I picked up one of these Fideo bags. I've never priced out the sliced cheese, but I thought that the extra sharp sliced cheese at $1.89 was a good deal, so I'm going to be using that. One more thing I wanted to show you while I was at Aldi. I looked at the Texas toast and it was $2.18, and I was trying to decide whether I just wanted to get this for my breakfast because it already had all of the cheeses on there. Plus it also had Asiago and Parmesan, which I love, although it doesn't have the cheddar. Anyhow, the carbs would have been 16 net carbs per slice, and this might have worked, but ultimately I just decided to go with the bagels. I love sandwiches that are made out of bagels, so I think I'd like to have the option to make one of those sometime this week. I looked for some low-carb noodles just to see if they had them here, but I couldn't spot any anywhere, so I'm not sure they do. And then I stopped by my favorite produce market. I picked up some chana dal. I also picked up some cucumbers because they were on sale, as well as some tomatoes. I was excited that they still have these 1 pints for $1.50, so I grabbed that. Had they not had those on sale, I would have just picked up 2 aroma tomatoes. I was also excited to see that they had a 1-pound bag of whole carrots for 79 cents. I spent $19.04 on this grocery haul. I'm a little under budget, but I'm planning on picking up some cilantro for 33 cents tomorrow or the next day. I purchased dried chickpeas and some chana dal. And here's the quinoa that I was telling you about that I already had. I'm so glad the eggs came back down. I got this 12-pack for $1.99. Anyhow, you've already seen most of these items, so let's just get right into the video. I'll put the grocery list and prices for you in the description area of my video. The first thing I'm going to do is get these chickpeas going in my crock pot. I plan to use these in green salads as well as a quinoa salad. I might also roast a few of these for snacking. I'll see how many I end up with. Now I want to show you what my current breakfast obsession is. And by the way, I don't think you guys have seen my new shredder yet. I got this from Amazon and so far I love it. I've been using it to shred cheese and carrots quite a bit and I'm excited to try this with some other vegetables as well. I'll link this in my Amazon storefront in case any of you are interested. Here's what I'll be using for my breakfast. And I'm just going to fry up 2 eggs real quick and then I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'll just be basting them with a little bit of oil in the pan. And then on a toasted bagel, I'm going to add some smashed avocado, and I'll be trying to conserve as much of this avocado as possible so that I can use it throughout the week. I think I'd like to maybe add this into a salad now and then, and maybe also for a quinoa salad. I think that'd be really good. So I'm making an open-faced breakfast sandwich, and this avocado is going to make it taste creamy, and it's also going to give it some moisture, which the sandwich definitely needs in it, so I want to make sure I do add enough. And I'm not salting that because I salted the egg, but if you're used to eating a little more salt, then you should probably salt the avocado. And then I'm just using this chili garlic sauce because that's the sauce that I love, but use whatever you want. And then I don't usually top this with green onions, but since I had them this time, I thought that they would be nice on there, and I cut them in very, very thin strips. And I actually did have a second egg that I ate just off by itself. I didn't top another bagel or anything with it. I only wanted to have the 1/2 of the bagel for the breakfast. And this, you guys, is so good. I've been obsessed with this at least for the last 2 weeks. And I know that carrots sounds a little odd for a breakfast sandwich, but everything just really works together on this. I think my favorite bread for this so far has been the Ezekiel Sesame, and that only has 12 net grams of carbs, and it cuts super easy. Plus, I love the bonus flavor of the sesame seeds. I also ate this last week on a piece of sourdough bread with some kiwi on the side, and it was delicious that way also. I made this salad for dinner, and I used some of the lettuce mixed in with some spinach, and then I just cut up a few of the cherry tomatoes. I added the rest of the shredded carrot from this morning and some finely diced cucumbers, and I ate this along with some balsamic vinegar dressing. And also, as you can see, I added some chickpeas for a little extra protein, and I've actually been craving chickpeas on a salad lately because they're just so good, and I love them with a vinaigrette. For a snack later, I had 1/2 of a bagel with some melted cheddar cheese. I love how chewy it gets in the microwave, and I usually like to have that along with some mustard, but I didn't use any this time. Here's another breakfast that I ate with my supplies.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down.
I do hate interrupting that awesome song. However, I do need to let you know about this delicious quinoa salad. It's funny because on videos where I've talked less and played more music, I'll sometimes get comments from my viewers saying, "Oh, we like the music, it's really nice and all, but I really just want to hear you talk." I think that's so funny. Anyway, I'm only going to be using a portion of the chickpeas for this. It's about 1 to 1.5 cups. The quinoa already has protein, but the chickpeas do also, so nutritionally this will be a nice meal. I'll start by cooking 1 cup of the quinoa and 2 cups of water. I'm going to bring that to a boil and let it cook for about 15 minutes. And then I want to focus on cutting up my vegetables in similar sizes. Sometimes I don't do this. I'm just in a hurry and I chop up the vegetables any which way, but it really does turn out better if all of the vegetables have a uniform size. I'm saving half of this bell pepper for some bagel sandwiches, and I also might use a few of these strips in a bowl later in the week. I'll be using one of these cucumbers. I'm using Persian cucumbers because that was on sale, and they're actually my favorite because they do have fewer seeds in them and they have a slightly sweet flavor. But you could use an English cucumber, and if you can only find the American cucumbers, I would definitely cut out the seeds so that it doesn't add too much moisture to this dish. And I cut up 1 onion. I've been craving this dish for a while now. I was talking to my viewer the other day about a recipe that she has that includes feta cheese and olives, which would be really good in this. There are so many different ways that you could make this. I'm going to sample this right now with a little bit of avocado. I won't have enough for each time I eat this, but this was definitely a 10 with the avocado. I would say without the avocado, it was about a 9.5. It just tastes so fresh, and you could taste that lemon, and it just tastes like summer to me. It's not too hot here in California at this time, but I know we're going to be getting into the heat fairly soon, and this is definitely going to be a go-to summer salad for me. This would also be good with some candied pecans, which I have a few left, but I'm not going to add it to it now. It'll also be good with some regular walnuts. There are really so many things I can think of that would be great in this. Maybe some dried cranberries. This would just be good with so many different things. It might be fun to try this even with some pineapple sometime to give it a little bit of a sweet flavor to it. That might be really nice. And of course, you could add cilantro in this if you wanted to. I do love the way Italian parsley holds up though. Next up in my meal prep, I'm going to boil some eggs for snacking during the week, and to add some protein to my salads, I'll be making a big green salad for the fridge, and I'm just going to pull off a couple pieces of the lettuce in case I need those for a sandwich, and then I'm going to cut up some of the lettuce to mix in with the spinach. I like the crispiness of this green lettuce to mix in with the spinach, but I do like the nutritional value of the spinach. If I wasn't sharing what I'm eating with you in this video, I wouldn't have made these big salads together at the same time. I would have made one today and the other one maybe 2 or 3 days later, but I did want to make them now so you could see what I'm eating. I offered to share these with my sons, and they have already been scarfing these down. It's funny because they won't order this type of food for themselves, but they love colorful food as much as I do. So when they saw this, they were eager to dip in. And even with both of these huge salads with all of those servings, I still have this lettuce and some spinach and cucumbers, and I have lots of carrots left over. So we're in good shape for the rest of the week. Okay friends, I don't know about you, but I love sandwiches made out of bagels. Something about the chewy texture that just really does it for me. And the nice thing about only using half of a bagel at a time for breakfast is that we have quite a few left over for sandwiches during the week. I just lightly toasted my bagel, and then I just want to add enough avocado to add some moisture and creaminess to the sandwich. If you're doing this meal plan and you want to use all of the avocado in your quinoa salad, you could always throw your remaining chickpeas into a blender and make some hummus. Just add a couple tablespoons of water, some olive oil, a little bit of lemon juice, and some garlic and salt, and blend that together, and you can use that on your sandwich instead. I think I'm going to roast the remaining chickpeas in my little toaster oven though, because I do really like them like that. If I want a beautiful sandwich or need it to stay together, I use parchment paper. I tuck the sandwich in as tight as possible and then roll it together. When you get these from the restaurant, sometimes they'll cut them in half and then roll it again in another layer to hold it together for when the person wants to eat it, which is how I do it if I'm preparing this for a work lunch. I'm going to eat half now, and I'll have half with some soup that I'm going to make with supplies from my grocery haul. When I've purchased these sandwiches at the bagel shop, I'll either get Asiago cheese bagel or the sesame seed bagel. I could have easily added some sesame seeds to this bagel. That would have been good. Some of you may remember when I made the low-carb cheese snack in a recent video, and I thought since I have so many slices of cheddar cheese that it would be a good way to use these for a nice snack this week. Being familiar with all of the many ways that you can use your ingredients really does help to give it so much more variety and also to have zero waste. I microwaved this for 1.5 minutes, and then I just topped it with some chickpeas. I didn't want to use enough chickpeas to where I could actually make a hummus in my blender, so I just mashed these up by hand. Like I said earlier, I'm saving the rest of those chickpeas to roast in my toaster oven. But this made a delicious snack just like this. It's amazing how satisfying it is, and it's super rich. so it would be hard to eat too many of these. I also topped this with some drops of the Chipotle Tabasco, and that was really good as well. Kind of wondering how that Chipotle Tabasco would be in some hummus. Now I'm totally wanting to try that. That's usually the way my Fridays end up. I don't work on Saturdays, and I try to wrap up my video by about 5-6 o'clock on Friday. And of course, Friday afternoon, I'm getting all of these crazy ideas that I want to try for my video, but I just can't fit them all into the video. I keep thinking about how good quinoa pudding with mango would be, but that would require coconut milk, and I didn't have any in this grocery haul. Let me know if any of you have tried that before. For this chayote squash, I'm going to actually use this in several dishes. I'm going to cut half of it up and just eat it raw, and then for the other half, I'm going to use in a soup, and then also I think I'll be using that later in another salad. For dinner, I wanted to make a soup to go with my other half of the bagel sandwich, and these are my ingredients. The first thing I want to do is toast the fideo, and if you haven't seen me do this already, it's probably because you're newer to my channel and you haven't gone back to watch all of the videos. But I did get this tip from a viewer and I love it. Basically, what you do is you toast your pasta before adding it to your soup, and it just helps the texture. It looks like I did get some more bonus pasta in this. I'm pretty sure this has happened to me recently with this pasta, but that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and leave them in there. And then it takes a little bit of time to get all of the pasta evenly browned, but when it's about to this level right here is when I go ahead and remove it from the heat and then add it to my saucepan, and then I'll add in some water and some not chicken bouillon is what I've selected to use for my broth. However, I'm only going to be using about a half of a cube because I'm just really making one serving here. So I really don't need the whole thing. And then I'm going to try the chayote squash in the soup. I think I wanted to try that last time, but I don't think I got to it. And then I'm going to add some black pepper. And then I'll add my carrots. I don't want my carrots to cook very long because I don't like them when they're too sweet. So I just let them cook for a couple minutes, and then what I'm going to do is taste it and see how the squash is and decide how done I want that to be. And that squash tasted delicious. I actually love that squash in this soup. I'm definitely going to be using that more often in soups. And then I just added my spinach, and I just want to wilt that, and then I'll eat this. And this was really super good to me. I would give this a 10. But I don't know if it's because I haven't had soup for a while and I've kind of been wanting it. It's actually a cooler day here, and I've been kind of cold, so this sounded really nice. Yeah, and it was the perfect amount. I might have been able to add a little bit more spinach even, but it was just so good to me. I loved it. I really like the idea of just getting whatever's on sale and trying to incorporate that into your meals, because you always have variety when you're buying what's on sale. And it also allows you to discover, different food combinations. I thought I would add a seasoning to this, and I was trying to decide between the Kinder's red jalapeno garlic and this buttery burger blend that I got. The Kinder's seasoning is super highly rated, and so I've been just wanting to experiment a little bit with these, and I've really enjoyed this buttery burger blend. It does taste very buttery. And then I also thought I would try this Chipotle Tabasco on some. I separated this into two different sections, and then I topped the one on the right with the buttery burger blend and the one on the left with the Tabasco Chipotle. And these turned out really good. I love trying different seasonings on these just to kind of spice things up a bit, but this is really good. This is one of my favorite snacks lately. For my last meal of the video, I made a quinoa bowl. I grated up the rest of the chayote squash and another carrot. I originally planned to just make an American bowl, but then I realized with the ingredients I had left over that I could make an Asian salad with this and it would be really good. However, I did saute my spinach with a little garlic, so I won't be mixing that into the salad. I'll eat that separate. I cut up some mango and the Italian parsley, some cucumbers, red peppers, and I made this Asian dressing. This is basically the Asian sauce that I like to use with my stir fries, and then I just add a few drops of balsamic vinegar to it, and it makes a great salad dressing. It's also good on cold spaghetti or any other kind of cold noodle to make a cold salad. I forgot, but I should have added some jalapeno slices and some green onions to this, but I completely forgot that I had those. And I'm going to go ahead and try this spinach before I mix all of the rest of the ingredients in. That's really good. Then I'll just stir this up. I might cut the mango a little bit, and I'm going to see if I want to add that into the salad or not, or if I just want to eat that separate. And when I was making the quinoa, I used a 1/4 cup quinoa, and I did add a little bit of vegetable bouillon to the water to season it. But if I would have known I was making this Asian salad, I wouldn't have even bothered with that because this has plenty of flavor. And this was so good. I love this. This is another fresh tasting meal, but it tastes nothing like the other quinoa salad that I made. I had one other recipe that I really wanted to fit into this video, but I'm out of time and I'm not sure it was going to turn out anyway. I'll give you a hint. Fritters. I was going to try to use the chana dal to make some fritters, but I was supposed to have yellow split peas, but I think they might work instead. If it does work, I'll add that segment to the next video because that would make another great budget recipe. I hope you like this video. If my videos have been helpful in any way, I do hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel and turn on the notifications tab so that you'll be notified when I release a new video. It does help my channel and helps to support the kind of videos that I make. Thank you so much for watching, friends. I'll see you next week with more budget videos.